when you get into the spiritual game, whatever the hell that means, you're going to pretty quickly realize that desire gets a bad rep in that game, and you might come across the Four Noble Truths and hear how life is unsatisfactory, and the cause of unsatisfactoriness is desire or attachment, however you want to look at it. And you go maybe read different scriptures, you take a look at different traditions, different religions, and they all seem to be very suspicious of worldly desires. For example, I grew up a Muslim, and you're not supposed to have sex before marriage, you're not supposed to tease the weasel, grease the pipe, whatever metaphor you want to use. You're not supposed to do a lot of things. You're essentially supposed to renounce the worldly pleasures and the worldly desires and just sort of perform them mechanically. You sort of, the image is you get married, and you become a dutiful husband, a dutiful wife. Just you do things out of duty and with some seriousness. Same pattern can be seen in Christianity as well. It's sort of that seems to be the mainstream outlook anyway in many of the world's major religions and traditions, which are often related with spirituality, right? These religions often claim that they are the spiritual powerhouse of whatever region they're in, for good, for better or worse. I'm not saying, I'm just simply pointing what is. Whenever you have a religion that come up in a particular region, that religion will claim authority in matters of spirit. Okay, and so it seems that it's a common thing in the mainstream schools of thought that claim authority in matters of spirit, that one should restrict their worldly desires if they are to end their suffering, if they are to go to a better place, whatever sales pitch that religion offers. Again, it's for better or worse. I'm not making a judgment here at all. I do share a lot of wisdom from different traditions in this channel, so it may come off as I'm talking shit here, and I'm being sarcastic about the whole thing, but I do share wisdom here. I do share wisdom from different schools of thought. So, is there truth to this? Should you limit your worldly desire? Should you renounce sex? Should you renounce worldly pleasures? Should you try to maintain what they call equanimity, which is, don't get sucked into the temporary pleasures of the world and just sort of remain grounded about the whole thing? See, the desire itself is not the problem. It isn't the issue. But the real issue here is the attachment to the fulfillment of the desire. There is a subtle difference there, but a huge difference. It may come off as subtle, but actually it's a huge difference between desire, between having a desire, desiring something, desiring particular food that you like, desiring sexual union with someone, desiring comfort, desiring money, desiring material things. And that is one thing, to desire something. The other thing is being attached to the fulfillment of that desire. That's when you begin to run into problems. But as far as your desire is concerned, that's simply part of the game, part of your programming. And desire creates the universe. Without desire, there would be no creation. There would be no game to play. There would be no yin and yang. There would be no duality. There would be no you and I experiencing ourselves in a subjective way. There would be no illusion. There would be no game, period. It's the desire that creates the universe, which is the game that we're playing. And so the desire is an absolutely essential part of experiencing. Because when you're experiencing something, that's your desire. So if I am experiencing poverty at the moment, that is my deep, sincere desire to experience that particular part of creation. If I am experiencing ice cream, that is also because it is my deep, innate desire as a soul, as part of God, as a branch on the tree, to experience what it's like to eat ice cream. You see, no desire, no universe, no creation, no play. So desire is the universe. Desirelessness is liberation. Often they say it's moksha, it's nirvana, when you're in a state of desirelessness. But the desire for desirelessness is a desire. You see the trap here? You see that your desire for desirelessness is creating the spiritual game, which I referred to in the beginning of the video, which is I want to get enlightened. I want to become God. I want to be whole again. I want to be self-realized. But don't you realize that your desire to be self-realized is creating the spiritual game? In other words, you want to play. And you have all these desires programmed within you because you would like to play this game. You would like to experience your own self, your own creation. And then eventually, when you truly get in a state of desirelessness, then you're finished with the game. Then you had your fun and you're done. You're done playing, and you become self-realized. You become fully enlightened. So what does that look like? What does the state of desirelessness look like? It is a state in which you are not attached to the fulfillment of your desire, whatever the desire is. You name the desire. You may have it, you may not, but you're not attached to its fulfillment. That is a state of desirelessness. Example, let's say you go to a particular restaurant every day, and they serve you this meal that you just eat every single day. It's your favorite meal of all time, and you wake up every day and you have the desire. You're looking forward. You go on about your day. You do your thing. It's 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. and you're like, yes, the desire is there. It's pushing you. You still got this music playing in you. You want to experience this food. You love it. You have the desire for it. One day you walk into the restaurant and they don't have that meal. Now, where the suffering happens is if you're attached to the fulfillment of your desire. But a truly desireless state in that moment would totally flow with the moment. Not even give it a second thought and just say, look at the menu and maybe pick something else. You see, if you're attached to the fulfillment, then you're going to stop for a second and you're like, shit, I really had a bad day at work today. I really was looking forward for this meal. And you sort of you got a frown on your face and your day's ruined, essentially. Unsatisfactoriness because your desire has not been met. And when somebody like Gautama, like Buddha, says that life is unsatisfactory, he was referring to this. He was referring to, let's be honest, your desires are not always going to be met. No matter how privileged you are, no matter how much of a good hand you have in life. And that's, say, one example. You walk one day, they don't have the ingredients, they don't have the food. They don't have it. So what do you do now? Do you get angry? Do you get disappointed? Probably that because you're attached to your desire being fulfilled because you're so used to it being fulfilled every day. But now it hasn't been met, it hasn't been fulfilled, your day has been ruined. And you eat that other meal and you go home and you're just kind of in a bad mood. Your desire hasn't been met. But see, the desire for the food itself, that's creation, that's play, that's the Maya, that's the Lila. Lila is the game, it's the divine dance. You're just doing the divine dance. You'd like to experience that food. There's nothing wrong with that. Having the desire for enlightenment, that's the desire for the light. right? That's a desire. I want to get enlightened. I'm going to go to a meditation retreat. I want to get enlightened. I want to become Buddha. I want to become Christ. That's a desire. You're playing the spiritual game. That's a new game you're playing. It's a new game in town. You're playing it, and that's just your part of your karmic package, your programming, and you keep playing different games. I remember the game that I was playing when I was 10 was the game of pizza and shawarmas. Right, I was a chubby kid between age about 9 until 13. I was chubby, right? And it was a different game I was playing than now. Now I'm playing different games. That was the game I was playing, the game of I want to experience a shawarma, I want to experience a pizza. And I was experiencing them almost every day. Hot dogs too, you name it. All kinds of junk food. That's the game I was playing. And I played it, and eventually we grew apart. I'm done with the game. That's it. Different games now, different desires. That desire for those foods, it fell away. It's done. I'm done with the game. Now different desires, part of my programming, begin to surface up. You see, and on and on and on. The desire keeps changing, and what's keep you in creation, what keeps you playing. And eventually, you're done with all desires. Eventually, they all fall off, and that's when you become fully enlightened. But you can't rip them away. You play them out until they just fall off. And just to reiterate, to remind you again that the desire for the light, the desire for enlightenment, what drives you to meditate and what drives you to do all these spiritual practices is a desire. That's your game now. It's a desire for the light. It's a desire for enlightenment, for self-realization. The desire to finally finish up with all the games and just sort of just go back home for a little while. Maybe have new desires spontaneously come up after enlightenment, and then boom, you're in the game again. And you're always coming in and out because creation goes on forever. So what creates unsatisfactoriness, what creates suffering, is the attachment to the fulfillment of the desire. Okay, that's plain and simple. That's really what's causing the suffering. That's what's causing all your neurosis and all your issues, is your attachment to fulfilling a particular desire. And when that desire is not fulfilled, you're faced with disappointment. Your day is ruined. Perhaps your week is ruined. Perhaps your month is ruined. Perhaps your life is ruined. For example, say you're in a relationship and that person does not, you're attached to that person being a particular way, only to find out that that person acted in a way that doesn't match your expectations, doesn't match your clingings, doesn't match your attachment to how they should be. You end up getting divorced and your life is ruined. You go on, you can't trust men or women anymore. And that's it. Your life is ruined because of an attachment you had to a reality being a certain way, to a particular person in your life being a certain way, and them turning out to be a different way than you wanted them to be. Causes you to become distressful of others, of the opposite sex, of the same sex, whatever you're into. And that's it. Your life is ruined because of that, because of your attachment to the fulfillment of your desire of how you want reality to be, or how you want things to be. It's not wrong to desire something. It's that you can't even do anything about it. It's just part of your programming. You're just running off a program. Essentially, you're just experiencing a script from start to finish. Your desires are what's creating your script, okay? Every experience you have is your desire. It's period. It can't be any other way. So it's your desire that's constantly creating the game, that's constantly giving you the experience of what is, of just being, right? You can't do anything about it. Your desires, you just can't do anything. They just fall off. I couldn't do anything about my desire when I was 10, to eat pizzas and shawarmas and hot dogs. No way. It's part of my programming. They just fall off. You fulfill them until they eventually you get bored. Like you get a toy. When you're a kid, you get a toy, and then you're done with the toy. You don't want to play with the toy no more. And if you think I have a choice now in this sort of spiritual game that I'm playing, right? I don't have a choice. Now it's just the new desire system. It kicks in. The program kicks in. And my actions are just based on that program. We're completely programmed beings, folks. Free will is an illusion, and we're just running off. So the desire itself, good luck. I'm really gonna sit down here and meditate and I'm gonna get rid of my desire, right? I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna let everything pass, all these sexual fantasies and all this stuff. I'm now a godly being. I'm a divine being. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. What's gonna happen to you is what Ramdas calls you become a horny celibate. You still got these desires in you. Don't deny them, but don't be attached to their fulfillment. But if you come across a situation where a certain desire for you, it's sort of in harmony now for that desire to be met, if you reject it, now you're attached to being not attached. You're attached to godliness. You're attached to divinity. But your desire is your desire. You're not gonna do anything about it. It's there. It has to run its course before it just naturally falls off on its own. I don't want to eat pizza anymore. I'm not trying. I'm not resisting. You think if there is a big pizza in front of me right now, you think I would have any trouble with it? No, because I'm done with it. I've ate so many pizzas in my life. I've tried everything, every type of pizza you could think of. Shawarma, same thing. In fact, I'm a little bit repulsed by shawarmas now because I ate so many shawarmas and they've caused me so many troubles over the years that now just if I had a shawarma in front of me, I would have zero trouble. Just I don't want it anymore. The desire's gone. It fell off. I'm not resisting. I'm not like it's tempting me. No, it's gone. It's that's it. That's it. It's gone, right? But if you put like say a bowl of biryani in front of me right now, I still have the desire for that bowl of biryani. So I might look at it and be like, oh shit, I have the desire. It's there. You see? So it just sort of falls off. And so to resist your desire, that's an attachment on itself. That's a clinging also. I'm attached to non-attachment. I'm attached to not being attached to worldly things. So also resisting your desires is another trap. Renouncing the world's another trap. The healthy place, in my opinion, is the place where you acknowledge all your desires and you acknowledge the trouble that they give you. Your desires for junk food are causing you health issues. It's like an acknowledgement. Look, this is the desire. Like in Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the first thing is you have to acknowledge that you're an addict, right? You have to acknowledge you have no power over your addiction. In many ways, you don't have any power over your desire. So okay, here we go. I have the desire for pizza and shawarmas and junk food. Okay, you acknowledge it. You don't stop the desire. All right, I'm gonna get a pizza. But you acknowledge also that perhaps it's causing you some issues, some health issues, etc., etc. You don't feel good after eating, can't sleep so good, feel fatigued, etc. But here you are. Here's the desire. What are you gonna do by the desire? And then it's funny what happens. The moment you acknowledge something, the awareness is transformative. The minute you actually acknowledge that this is my desires and I can't do anything about it, the spontaneous change of the way of the Tao begins to take place. It almost signals that you're now almost done with this particular game and you're gonna move on to different experiences, different desires. And you begin to move towards the desire for the light, which is me and many of you guys watching this channel. We're at the level now where we're moving away from the worldly desires, but it's a spontaneous move with no resistance. Just a simple falling off of these old desires, you see? And it's a sort of a movement towards the desire for the light, the desire for self-realization, which is in and of itself is a desire. Often the last desire to destroy all desires. Okay? And the final level is the level where you still got desires, but you're not attached to their fulfillment. And that's liberation. So for example, you could still have the desire for sex, for sexual union. Perhaps now it's more refined. It's no longer about the pleasure and the it's more like union and love. And you're playing the game on higher chakras now, right? Where your suffering will be caused is if you become attached to I want to have tantric sex or I want to have this union, and you become attached to the fulfillment of the desire, you run into serious troubles, my friends. Because what if it's not fulfilled? Now you've just created a fantasy for yourself and it didn't get fulfilled. As opposed to, okay, I have that desire. It seems like a healthy desire, union, etc., blah blah, all that good stuff. Love. Okay, I acknowledge this desire. If there is a particular situation in my life where that desire clearly wants to be fulfilled, because the universe sort of brings you with the other person together, and it's just really like, come on, like if you don't make love to each other in that situation, then it would almost be going against the flow of the Tao. Then you say, oh, so let it be. The desire is sort of being met now. But attachment to the fulfillment of the desire and then not having the desire fulfilled is going to cause the trouble. It's going to cause the issues. It's going to cause the unsatisfactoriness that is often quoted in Buddha's First Noble Truth. That life is unsatisfactory. It's dukkha. It's suffering. But to have a desire, you're good luck. You're not going to do anything about your desires, man. You're stuck with your desires until they fall off on their own. And sometimes they just fall off. You don't even have to fulfill them. You might have a desire for, a bowl of biryani, for example. Like I'm craving a bowl of biryani today, so I might go treat myself. Or you might just continue to do life, and then a month later, that desire of eating the bowl of biryani fell off, even though you didn't eat it. But they just fall off on their own. There shouldn't really be, in my opinion, in the spiritual game. And I shouldn't say that word shouldn't, and I just said it again, but there are no shoulds in creation. Okay, so that's why, let me just say, in my opinion, a lot of people who get in the spiritual game, they bring back their models of no pain, no gain, a very masculine way of thinking. No pain, no gain, total discipline, renunciation, and there's a seriousness about the whole thing. In my opinion, the whole way is fun. The whole game is fun, and you're always having fun with every experience, whether it's eating pizza, whether it's making love, whether it's meditating, going to a cave and meditating, whatever it is. I see it as every step of the way is fun. And the desire is what makes it fun. But then the attachment to the fulfillment of the desire is what makes it serious and not fun, and all that not so good stuff. Okay? So don't be in the position of judging your desires. I shouldn't have a heart on right now. I'm holy, I'm divine. I shouldn't be craving this lower vibrational food. That's your desire right now. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing really. There's nothing you can do about it. It's there. It's part of your programming now. And it'll fall off at one point or another. You'll just, like a toy, you'll play with it until you just move on to another toy, until there are no more toys to be played. And that's also happens, but it's not even in your control. Your enlightenment is not in your control. It's already programmed within you. It's like a cocoon turning into a butterfly. Cocoon isn't in control of the process. The cocoon is witnessing the process of turning into a butterfly. Nothing you could do about it. You're gonna get enlightened whether you like it or not. You're gonna become a butterfly whether you like it or not. So why try? Why even be so in a rush? Why even that's something I realized in the last retreat that I did, which I talked about, which I lasted 5 days, not the 10 days, halfway. I realized, I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm just trying too hard here to get enlightened, to get, I'm trying too hard. It's not, I don't have a choice. I'm getting enlightened whether I like it or not. Why am I resisting so much? Why am I trying so hard? That's why I left, right? Why try so hard? It's not like I have any choice. The choice is a total free illusion. Free will is a total illusion. Choice is a total illusion. You're a programmed, determined being from start to finish. Witnessing your movie, which is, by the way, the movie is the culmination of your desire. So at every frame of the movie is a desire, which is an experience. Desire creates an experience. So don't be bashing desires. Don't be bashing your desires, your cravings. So acknowledge them, and then just acknowledge also that it's the attachment to their fulfillment that is creating the issue for you, the unsatisfactoriness. And if you just say, well, I have the desire, I'm just gonna, okay, you know, it may get fulfilled, it may not. I'm not going to push it away. I'm going to fully acknowledge it, fully be with it, and perhaps even fulfill it. But it's my attachment to the fulfillment that's creating the problem. So that is it's a healthy way to go on about the whole thing. It really is. So anyway, that was a rant all over the place. Nevertheless, it made some things clear for me as well. Because I'm selfish like that. I make these videos for myself because I would like to clear things up for myself. But I am you, so it's all the same thing anyway. There's only one of us here, forever alone. So thank you to all the Patreons for your support in this channel. You guys are awesome. And I missed you guys not making videos. I missed not speaking to the camera, not being here with you guys. So I'm really glad, you know. One thing I realized also in the retreat that I done lately is my path has a lot to do with, you know, what they call karma yoga, which is being in the world. Very much so. So this is something that I just can't not do. So yeah, if you would like to support, either one-time donations via PayPal, or you could join the Patreon for $2 a month. One day we'll host retreats, fan-funded retreats, so it'll be really cheap. You just buy the ticket, you come here. Tickets are cheap to Thailand. So yeah, if you'd like to support, the links are in the description. And that's about it. Until next time, may the force be with you.